pacing around the floor. Got southern woods and waters gonna take me out the door. Got coffee on the perkin', I'm about to have some fun. They'll have my mind chasing some critter on the run. Bring it on, southern woods and waters, make me hear that sound of a fish that's breaking water or the bawling of some hound. Make me smell that river mud, feel clean air on my face. Bring it on, southern woods and waters, show me that special place.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Welcome to this night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. Hope you're all got even more family and friends than normal sitting around with you watching the show tonight. I know we've got a great show set up for you. We're really looking forward to it. I've got some first of all, a great guest set up with us tonight, and we're going to be taking y'all down to Savannah, Tennessee, and we're going to check out the World Championship of Catfishing. That's held right here, like I say, in Savannah, and it's been held there a long, long time. So in the studio with Dayton and I tonight, I've got my buddy J.R. Sweat, and J.R. is the director of the WCC and many other things. J.R., you've been on here with us with Hope Outdoors and World Championship and the Catfish Derby and a lot of things, J.R., and you're super involved. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us tonight.
We appreciate you asking me. We appreciate us being here.
Well, first of all, you know, again, Thanksgiving. Just happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
You too. Yep.
Can you believe it's that time of year already?
Went quick, didn't it?
Turkey time is upon us.
That's right.
And it's my favorite time of year, my favorite holiday for sure. So no doubt about it.
People getting rid of their holiday ornaments and getting ready for getting everything going.
Oh, we'll have to
Pecan
get all that stuff
pumpkin
down.
pies.
Start hanging Christmas trees and all that stuff now.
You ain't eating no pecan pie, are you? Oh, yeah. Pecan pie, sweet potato pie.
That's right.
I tell you what, I got proof here in just a little while that JR likes his sweets.
Does he?
You know, yeah. We're going to see that here in just a little bit
Yeah, we
here
are.
at the fair and the event. But JR, with the World Championship of Catfishing, again, this is downtown Savannah. Okay, this is a big deal.
Savannah.
They shut down streets down there. You have vendors that come in. You have musicians that come in. I mean, this is a big time event.
Yeah, we've had Turtle Man there in the past. We've had Mountain Man. He's been there in the past. This year, the city of Savannah kind of went out with some young executives, and they brought in some music. A whole array of Dina Carter, Darryl Worley, numerous other bands, and closed down the city streets, and they had a big concert out there while we were weighing in fish, and we even had a beauty pageant. We crowned a Miss National Catfish Derby.
I was going to say, is this Miss Catfish or something?
Yeah.
I figured it must be what it was.
There's actually 2 tournaments that goes on during the whole month of September. The culmination of the National Catfish Derby is the World Championship of Catfishing. The Catfish Derby starts September the 1st and run till September the 24th. There was no entry fee. You could weigh in as many fish during that week or that month as you wanted, and each week was a segment 1, 2, 3, and 4, and whoever weighed the biggest fish in for that segment won that week, and then whoever weighed the overall biggest fish in for the National Catfish Derby was
the overall Derby winner.
Was the overall Derby winner.
Gotcha.
And you know, like I've always said, if when it comes to the World Championship of Catfishing, if you want to be the best, you've got to fish with the best, and we have it right there.
You have them come from all around.
Sounds like a great place to be at that time.
Some of the best catfishermen from all around the nation are there, and a lot of them come from the areas you would think, up and down the Mississippi River, the Tennessee River.
Yeah, and they're hunting for them big ones.
And they're hunting for big ones, and they found some too. They always do.
Yeah, always do.
And it seems certain ones they really seem to find the big ones when they get down there.
This year we had the winner of the World Championship of Catfishing was a first-time winner, and Actually, I put on, like you said, many hats. I put on smaller introductory catfish tournaments throughout the year.
Yeah, right.
And Jeff Lovelace and his partner came to me, I guess about 2 years ago. Never had been in a catfish tournament, and he came out and he fished with us and enjoyed it, and he started growing within the sport, and he wound up winning it this year, and I was very proud of him. I was tickled.
Isn't that something? I know I've heard you tell stories a lot of times when you're up there, because not only are you the director, but you do all the emceeing, and I mean you're really involved. But you talk about these guys that years ago they would come and they would fish in this little 14, 16-foot John boat, and little tiller motor, and bring a cooler with, and work their way up. Now they're pulling in with these big rigs, and they've just grown so much. And the sport of catfishing has really come back around a lot again.
It's these guys nowadays they're pulling planer boards, and that was something that you didn't do except offshore.
Right.
And they're pulling planer boards. They're pulling 6 or 8 boards at a time, and it's just, it's evolving. It's just not, it's still your granddaddy's sport.
That's what I was fixing to say. There's a lot of people caught catfish that just love it. I love catfish.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Me too. And it's just, but the sport has grown so till there's so many big money tournaments, and these guys get into that. But there's still the opportunity for our man to come to a Saturday afternoon catfish tournament and have a good time and joke and cut up and carry on. And whether you're using chicken livers or whether you're using Kool-Aid catfish or Kool-Aid chicken.
There's a lot of secret baits out there.
There's skipjack heads.
Well, that's.
Oh, look, I think you struck a nerve right there.
I got it.
Skipjack head is my preferred bait for big fish.
That's right. We should take and fillet a skipjack and hook the shiny sides out in the current where it sits there and looks like it's swimming.
Well, since you said that, I fished in a tournament here, a charity tournament with Jeff Lovelace and his brother, and I took and I threaded through the nose and hooked the hook in, and then I filleted the skipjack and I broke his spine out and took his tail off, and then I buried the trailer hook into the inside of and he just sits there. A lot of techniques that you use offshore is now coming into play in the catfish business.
Well, you're talking huge fish. It's a lot of the same techniques and depths. You're in really deep water. Can you describe just a little bit for people at home a planer board? I have a little experience with them with a buddy of mine, but what is a planer board? How do they use those?
Planer board attaches to your main line. If you're going to, say you're looking at your depth finder and you're pulling a ledge, or you're fishing a ledge and it's 20 foot deep, you let out 18 foot of line, you take and you hook your planer board onto it. And planer board's made with 2 clips. One pulls the actual planer board. Now when you get a bite, it pulls off that board, and the board is loose. And it spreads them. It spreads your bait out.
Yep.
And instead of pulling just like if you're anchored, instead of fishing directly behind the boat, then you can pull off.
Yep. And keep your depths where you want to.
And the depths where you want it. You can on the outside of the hump or on the inside of the hump, or you stagger your depth here, you stagger your depth there. They make them in left and right. They're about maybe a foot, and they're made somewhat like a pool noodle.
Yeah.
Except they've got a piece of metal 6-8 inches that it digs in and it spreads.
They swim a certain way.
Right.
They've gotten really popular, and that makes a big difference. Well, guys, we're going to go over right now and do this week's wild game forecast. This week's wild game forecast is being sponsored by our friends over at Wilson Bank and Trust. Y'all can stop in and see them at one of over 30 Middle Tennessee locations. Be sure to tell them thank you for all they do for us here at the show. All right, guys. Well, you know, it's been really cold the last little bit. We've had a couple of warm days. You can see Dayton broke back out the spring gear here. But seriously, we got a rain front coming in, JR, and that's coming, you know, here real soon. Now we got duck season opens up this coming weekend, and you can tell JR is ready. He's got the duck beard ready.
No shave November.
No shave November. But my point is, this rain front's going to come in. We're looking at up to 1.5 inches in some areas, and that front, I think, will, number one, I think it might help our duck hunters a little bit. But also, I think it's going to help drive some deer movement that has actually, in my opinion, been down just a little bit the last few days. I've had a lot of lockdown going on, and some other things. And sometimes these rain fronts tend to kind of stir things up. But in the fishing world as well, Dayton, I mean, you've been waiting on a good rain for a while.
We've been needing it bad, especially in your main rivers and lakes. I mean, that's what flushes the rivers out. That's what brings the fish in. They got to generate to make the shad come in and all that. And you go up there to below your dams now, and it's shallow.
It is. I mean,
it's unbelievable shallow. We've been talking about this for 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
But now
it's had any relief.
And it's really coming into effect now more than ever, because we're still not getting any relief.
I'm telling you. Well, guys, we're going to get ready to take a quick break. We'll be right back with this week's Pictures of the Week and some more Southern Woods and Waters.